Hey guys, Jason DeLong here with Heartland Homes KC, and just wanted to talk to Drew today on a topic that we get a lot right now, especially with this low inventory market, about what do you do? What are your options as a seller? So, Drew, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, Jason. Pleasure to be here as always. And yeah, I got quite the stump of questions for you today. So
I like
hopefully
it.
you're ready for the A game today. So,
Yep.
so my first question is, I'm looking to sell in today's market and look to capitalize on the rising prices that we're seeing here in the KC area due to supply and demand, which we've talked about previously. But with that being said, if I buy or if I look to sell my home first and there's not a lot of homes on the market and say I can't buy my next home in time, what do I do kind of during that transition period?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's probably 80% of the sellers and buyers out there right now. But there's a few different options that we walk through. One of them being if you do a delayed close until you find a home, say up to like 90 or 120 days. That's a possibility. Not every buyer out there, other than some of our investor buyers, are open to that. But we do have some local transitional housing that you can do month to month. That you can kind of fill out your time until you find a house to buy. So that's the best option on that. We always keep those available just for these times and circumstances. So, but it's never an easy answer.
Yeah, it's a complicated market, that's for sure. I
Oh
mean,
man.
I've never seen before,
Yeah.
and I follow real estate market fairly heavily. So, I mean, it's unprecedented what's going on. So, um, quick kind of follow-up question, since it is such a heavy sellers market, have you seen kind of sellers more so be able to possibly negotiate, whether it be possibly like a lease back or something like that, to where they're able to still stay in that current home even though they've closed with their new buyer, to kind of ease that transition, if you will? Is that something you're seeing on a regular basis in today's market?
Yeah, I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but even on the homes that we go in and purchase, we'll do that. We'll give them like a month or two to find something else or to transition. Um, the traditional buyer, sometimes will. I mean, if they really like the neighborhood and the house, they can't find anything else. They're open, they're flexible. Some of the investor buyers that come in and just step in and buy it, cash, and kind of just cut out a lot of the headaches for the seller. They're open to an extended close, say 90 to 120 days. So I wouldn't say you see it a lot, but it's starting to get more common.
Right, right. And then yeah, you kind of led into my next question there, Jason. Cheating on me already. So there we go. So yeah, with the investor buyers that are in today's market, and with their ability to delay closing but still sell a home quickly, so that way sellers are able to have that cash to move forward if they need to buy that next property. Kind of what are you seeing, whether that's from an investor standpoint, as far as whether that's a viable option for sellers in today's market, or is it
Right.
something more so where they should be kind of more so on the traditional market pretty consistently to maximize value, if you will?
Right. No, that's a good question. And we sit there and break that down, usually both those options, for a seller, because it's just the industry has changed and there's a lot of different buyers out there right now. So and it's going to just continue, I think, to improve for sellers if you break it down both ways. And you look at, like, you're not making the repairs that you typically are. You're not having the flood of people come through your house. And like, if you have an investor buyer, institutional buyer, that purchases your house, I mean, it's based on your term, so you get to choose a close date. And it's certainty. It's about certainty. So if they step in and say, we're buying your house cash, They might do inspections, but it's not contingent upon those inspections most of the time. So it's just certainty for the seller. It's their flexibility. They get to choose a close date. So it does make a lot of sense in most cases. But if you want to get your full market value, that's when, it might make sense to go and do a few updates or repairs and put it on the market.
Right. So speaking of those updates, repairs, and then putting it on the market traditionally, would you say that you're seeing that a lot in today's market, where people are spending the time, money, and effort to prepare their home like they would traditionally, in more so a balanced market as opposed to in today's seller's market? Or are you seeing more people just kind of put their house on the market as is, price it appropriately, or maybe even above a little bit, and still being able to sell their home in it kind of with, again, how crazy the seller's market is, in a timely fashion to where they're getting multiple offers?
Right. Yeah, you're seeing all three of those. You're seeing people just put it on as is because they know it's a good seller's market, and pricing it, usually a little bit above, or they might, price it accordingly and just, hope for multiple offers to drive the price up a little bit. And then you've got the ones that, probably I'd say 40% or more, maybe even half, that are just, going the traditional route, putting the repairs and updates in and just, listing it, market value. And then you've got, I would say, a good 25% of the market right now where either somebody's bought it as is and then has turned around and has done the updates and repairs and put it back on for market value, or you just have, people are taking a cash offer and kind of doing the sale on their terms and going that route, just making, taking out all the headaches basically.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely. And like we've talked about, today's market is crazy to where, I mean, you're seeing sellers kind of get what they want ultimately, with still getting a great price and then being able to negotiate the rest. So yeah, it's
Right.
It's definitely, you got to be a very flexible buyer in today's market, to say the least. But
Right.
outside of that, Jason, that really does it for all my questions. Other than last one I got for you is just, in today's market, what would be your best advice for sellers to do to be able to capitalize on the market today, but still not necessarily, well, I guess I should reword that, but what is your advice to sellers on how to best take advantage of this market today?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And I think I see a lot of sellers kind of sit on the sidelines a little bit. Just if they have to buy, they're like, okay, well, yeah, we might be able to get a good price for our house now, take the equity out, but we also are going to be paying more for our next house, or most of the time not be able to find something right away. So it's that catch-22 where, yeah, I can sell now, but I might be homeless for a couple months. And I think a lot of times it's not explained to them, or people don't have the resources to give them options to where you either have transitional housing or the marketplace of buyers to step in and buy their house cash and give them the 90 to 120 day close date, so they can go and find, at their leisure and get something else under contract and then close on their house. So there's a lot of options out there that most sellers don't know about. And, I always explain those and try to find the best fit for them, because every situation is a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it all comes down to situations and awareness, or situations and goals, actually. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I appreciate the time, Jason. As always, that's it for my questions. It's always a pleasure to get with you here on our Facebook Lives and get all the latest on the KC market for, obviously, buyers and sellers. So appreciate it again.
You bet. Thanks, Drew.